This is Radar from the Red Table, coming at you with another show, Movie Review Observations number 204. The first movie I watched it based on who was in the movie. It was Lucas Till, Tyrese Gibson, Don Johnson, Ruby Rhodes. I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to really enjoy this one because it's got actors I like. Paul Ben Victor is the bad guy. I'm like, okay, cool. So it's about an agency that does things off the books because they didn't agree with the CIA or the FBI or whatever. So they're like, we're going to make our own agency and we're going to have all these rules and things like that. And Tyrese Gibson's an obsessive agent over this one case, trying to stop this human trafficking ring. And apparently Lucas Till was a lawyer, but he wanted to become like an agent. And the whole point of the movie is the bad guy knows all the moves of the agency and all the agents in the system because he's got like good hackers or whatever. And Ruby Rose is one of his, it's one of his henchwomen's. And so Lucas Till gets only recruited into this because he's technically not in the system. He's new and they're not expecting him. And I'm used to Lucas Till being MacGyver using everything but a gun in a show. So it was interesting to see him use a gun. And, it was all about, taking down the bad guy. And I don't know, maybe they could make a second movie, but it wasn't bad. It just wasn't great. It was all right. But good thing about it is a very short movie. Next, I watched movie Black Demon, where it was, we got a white guy, and he's married to a Hispanic woman, and he works on an oil rig, and he works for this company that has oil rigs in the Hispanic country, and they apparently don't like the company that does the oil rigs, blah, 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 blah. They go to a small town, things don't look great, so they're kind of stuck there, and then they're stuck on the oil rig, and there's this huge type of shark that's coming to attack them, and Megalonian shark, and his family and him are stuck there with some of the workers, and the goal is for them to survive. And, in this type of horror film, either everyone dies or everyone survives, or someone heroically sacrifices themselves to save the day, and that's what happens in this movie. It's barely an hour and 40 minutes with credits. There is a lot of Spanish in the movie. It would be nice if I knew that ahead of time, if I knew this was a bilingual movie, but, it was all right. It wasn't great. Then I watched Mobland with Stephen Dorff and John Travolta, and the movie's not even about them really in a way. The movie has Kevin Dillon, from Entourage. He and his buddy or brother or whatever cousin it is, he ropes his buddy into stealing from a drug company and the money, and it turns out that Stephen Dorff is the one they stole from, and he gets revenge on them, and then the movie ends with Stephen Dorff being shot bullet straight through the head, and the movie ends. I don't know anything else, I don't know if 100% that the main guy in the movie survived or not. John Travolta being the sheriff, it was kind of, up in the air if he really did anything, so it was all right. It was just not really well put together and well written, and Dylan's character gets killed off pretty quickly, and then it just ends abruptly. And you think a movie that's an hour and 14 minutes with credits wouldn't end abruptly. I think an hour and 50 minutes is a good amount of time for there to be some sort of good conclusion in this movie. I'm sorry. It seemed like it was going well, but I was just like, I don't know anymore. And then I watched movie Headcount, where I didn't know anybody in this movie. Obviously with Mobland and The Collective, I knew most of the people in the movie. And this one, barely 80 minutes, so it's a very short movie. The whole point of the movie is he has a gun to his head. He's got to figure out how many bullets are in the gun, because he's and so the whole movie is in flashbacking to every incident that he had the gun, and it was used either by him or someone else using it, how many bullets. And he's he basically, he escaped prison for whatever the charges are. His brother is a country music singer, star of whatever. He's estranged with his family. He's got ex-girlfriends or other people in town. And for him, mostly the whole movie is him trying to get a fake passport, get out of town. And there's some sort of greedy cop who doesn't want to get in trouble for the prison escape. So he kidnaps him and does a bunch of dumb stuff. And then the whole movie is him just trying to survive. And it's just okay, cool. Is he going to be alive or is he not going to be alive? I don't know. It's just really stupid. Then I watched the movie Hypnotic with Ben Affleck. This is an actual movie from the Scotia Public Library. And usually they have the quote-unquote good movies, the movies you don't forget about. Problem is, the last time I was really hyped about watching a Ben Affleck movie it was him and Justin Timberlake, and I convinced my father years ago to watch it, and it turned out to be very boring and very bad. Now, this movie is listed as action. I would put this movie in like science fiction in a way because they want you to expect a detective trying to solve a mystery, right? And they're telling him to drop it. It's over with. That his daughter died. It doesn't matter who took her. Blah blah. He's got a strange relationship with his ex-wife. His partner's like, you just got to move on. And then there's like these series of bank robberies that he's trying to solve, and it somehow has to connect with his daughter. And I really like that William Fichtner is a very good leading bad guy in this movie. And David Okonkwo, Haley Finley, Joe Pardo, who I've seen before. A lot of these guys I've seen before. Alice Braga. The point is, like, they want you to believe that this is just a regular detective movie. And it was not. There was a lot of science fiction in the movie if people have abilities and things are being warped and they're not what you expect. Like a little bit like, oh yeah, we're watching Inception or Tenet and you're confused and what the heck's going on? Who's married to who? Who's who? What's going on? Where's his daughter? What's going on? It's just like, it was a lot to try to understand, and I was really hoping this movie would be good. And I'm glad it was only a 90-something minute movie, but it was like, cool. I'm kind of wasted William Fichtner playing a very good bad guy who apparently was like mind controlling people to rob banks for him and stuff. And I thought that was a cool thing. And they're like, nah, let's just get rid of that thing of him trying to solve bank heists and who kidnapped his daughter. Let's make this whole entire government agency plot with gifted people and stuff. I'm like, okay, you just completely ruined it. This movie is not good. It was very disappointing. Then I watched the movie Unwelcome. And the only actor I heard of was Colm Meaney from, Star Trek. And basically, this British/Irish couple get assaulted in their house in a bad neighborhood, so they get to move into a nice neighborhood. But guess what still happens? Colm Meaney and his kids, who are working on their house, try to kill them because their son goes missing and dies or whatever. And it looks like that dude with the gray beard and he's fat, he looks like he's actually older than Colm Meaney. So it was bad casting. It's like, did he have this kid when he was like 5 years old? Like, what the heck? Really stupid. And again, barely 90-something minutes to an hour and 40, so it wasn't that long. But there's all these little creature gremlins that apparently lived in his aunt's house, and you gotta give a sacrifice to them, or they come out and they kill people and stuff. And like the grandmother, like the aunt before him, whatever the reason is, these people took the aunt's baby, and in this one, she does it to herself. She's like, we're being killed by Colm Meaney's kids. Help us, like you did with the other kid. And of course, guess what happens? They take the baby. Like, no duh. You said take anything. So, of course, if you have them say take anything, they're going to take your baby. Like, this is stupid. And then there's a whole blood procedure at the end where I don't know if that was some sort of way for the kid not to be taken, the kid could live, because, I don't know, it was just very, very stupid and weird. And, like, definitely is a horror film because it's weird and creepy and disgusting. But, yeah, not great. Then I did watch 2 movies on streaming this week, but only one I was able to finish because the other person didn't want to complete the movie. So I watched the Chicken Run sequel. If y'all remember, the Chicken Run movie was about a group of chickens and, farm animals and roosters, and they're trying to escape this really bad farm, and they hated it, blah, blah, blah. So that was the point of the first movie, them trying to escape the farm. This one is called Dawn of the Chicken Nugget. So they're all living, in that island like they did in the last movie. Like they said, they got out free, they're all good. And they're living their life in the secluded area. And of course, it's moving on in life. So obviously the 2 main characters, Ginger and Rocky, have a kid. And their kid is very much like them. Adventurous. Wants to know what's going on. Doesn't like to be feel trapped. So the whole point of the movie is the daughter does something stupid. And they have to go save her from the bad guys. And of course the bad guy, not to ruin it, for the first movie, is involved. So it's like, okay, cool, they bring them back. But obviously they changed a lot of the voice acting. But Thandie Newton and Zachary Levi are playing the main animals. Bella Ramsey's the kid. Imelda Staunton, Lynn Ferguson, David Bradley, Jane Horrocks, Romesh Ragenstein, Daniel Mays, and Peter Saffones, Nick Mohammed, and Miranda Richardson are like the main cast. Because you still got the really tough chicken. Then you got the nerdy chicken. Then you got the old rooster. And you got the one who's good at knitting. Then you got the 2 rats who are scavengers. And then you got, the person, the scientist who's like making chicken into chicken nuggets. And obviously, you got the guy who owns a lot of chicken restaurants. And then Yeah, the bad guy herself. So, you know what? It was good for them to make a sequel where you're like, it's cool, it's in the future, let's move on. So I thought it wasn't bad. I thought it was the best movie I watched this week, hands down, because they take a classic like Chicken Run and they make a sequel where they got to save the day again and save chickens. I was like, that's a good idea, too. Save chickens and stuff from stuff that's happening. The animation's the same, was really good. So, yeah, I liked it, and I love Zachary Levi, so it's cool that he was voicing Rocky in this movie. It was obviously nominated for, like, a bunch of awards, so that's pretty good. But, yeah, this was episode 204 of Movie Reservation on the Radar 10 blog. Please don't watch Unwelcome. It's not really great. Head count's not really great. Mobland, unless you're, like, a huge John Travolta fan, I probably wouldn't obsess, because he wasn't even, like, the main part of the movie. Black Demon was not good. The Collective, I watched it because, again, I like Tyrese Gibson, Ruby Rose, Lucas Till, and obviously I like Don Johnson, because who doesn't? And then Hypnotic was just disappointing, Ben Affleck. He disappointed me many times in many movies. Thanks again for listening to Movie Reservation number 204. For On the Radar Table Block, I'm Radar. See you guys next time.